Okay, today's big story is a near endgame chess move by House Judiciary Committee Democrats, and it may well force the release of more of Jack Smith's report, Volume 2, in an attempt to let some sunshine on the undisinfectable acts of subversion that happened at Mar-a-Lago concerning Donald Trump and his cohorts, Carlos de Oliveira and Walt Nauta. You remember Walt Nauta.
New photos from June 2022 shows this. Trump aide and co-defendant Walt Nauta moving boxes around Mar-a-Lago. Prosecutors say that Nauta moved these boxes shortly before a Trump attorney was going to look through them after getting a subpoena to turn over classified materials. Today, the judge in this case, Judge Eileen Cannon, is expected to hold two hearings where she's going to be hearing motions to dismiss cases from co-defendants, including Walt Nauta.
And therein lies the potential brilliance to this story, as you are about to see in our breaking report from CBS just a second. It's a tactical reversal of strategy. House Democrats on the Judiciary Committee, well, they may have unexpectedly turned the tables in favor of public disclosure over a now impotent prosecution of this mess.
Former President Trump and his longtime aide pleaded not guilty today to new charges in the superseding indictment in the classified documents case. Trump, Walt Nauta, and Mar-a-Lago property manager Carlos de Oliveira are all facing charges of conspiring to obstruct justice by attempting to delete surveillance footage at Trump's Florida estate. Senior reporter Catherine Falders joins me now from Fort Pierce, Florida, with much more on this. Catherine, thanks for joining us. Let's jump right in. De Oliveira was not able to be arraigned today, and we're told it was due to an issue finalizing local counsel. So what's the latest, and what does that mean exactly?
Right. This was his second time in court not being arraigned. Now we're here in Fort Pierce, Florida. So he appeared in that courthouse, and his lawyer said that they haven't finalized the local counsel yet. Now, what's interesting here is we don't really know the reasons why, and his lawyers didn't articulate that to the judge, but the judge, of course, rescheduled this. This will again be here on Tuesday. The judge has waived De Oliveira's appearance, so he won't be here, but then the lawyer, once they iron out whatever it is with local counsel, even though they didn't say it, he will enter this plea next week.
And we do know that former President Trump's attorneys actually asked a judge to establish a secure facility at Mar-a-Lago to review evidence. So how exactly would that work?
Yeah, this is a debate that's happening between the Trump legal team and Jack Smith over this protective order as it relates to classified documents and the classified documents probe. So Trump's lawyers entered a filing yesterday and essentially said that they want a facility, a secure facility, also known as a SCIF, essentially built at Mar-a-Lago so that Trump can review documents that he obtains in discovery or even discuss classified documents with his lawyers. Now, they argue that this shouldn't be that difficult because, of course, when Trump was president, he had secure facilities. There was a secure facility at Mar-a-Lago. So their argument is that they should just reinstate this. We don't know ultimately what will happen or what the judge will say as it relates to that. But this is all part of a broader debate of the back and forth between prosecutors and Trump's team over this protective order and how Trump and his lawyers will be able to view classified documents.
Now, before this case gets flushed down the toilet of failed attempts at holding the accountable, well, as CBS reported earlier today, Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee are urging Attorney General Merrick Garland to consider dropping federal charges against Donald Trump's former co-defendants in the classified documents case, Walt Nauta and Carlos de Oliveira, to ensure that the Justice Department can release the rest of special counsel Jack Smith's final report about Trump's alleged crimes. Nauta, an aide to Trump, and de Oliveira, a former property manager at Mar-a-Lago, are accused of obstructing the investigation into Trump's handling of sensitive government documents after he lost re-election in 2020. Both have pleaded not guilty. Garland previously said he would not publicly release the second part of Smith's report, which details the allegations in the documents case, because the proceedings involving Nauta and de Oliveira were ongoing. In a letter to Garland on Thursday morning, the committee's Democrats, including ranking member Jamie Raskin of Maryland and Representative Dan Goldman of New York, say the public needs to see the second half of Smith's findings. They write in the letter, "The American people now deserve the opportunity to read Volume 2 of Special Counsel Smith's report, which explains how President Trump knowingly retained hundreds of presidential and highly classified records at his Mar-a-Lago club and then deliberately defied subpoenas, obstructed law enforcement, hid evidence, and lied about his continuing retention of these records. It is the very nature of American democracy that the people have a right to know the public actions of their public officials, and it is essential to the rule of law that the Justice Department's special counsel reports continue to be available and accessible to the public. As Attorney General, it is incumbent upon you to take all necessary steps to ensure the report is released before the end of your tenure, including, if necessary, by simply dismissing the remaining criminal charges against Mr. Trump's co-conspirators, Waltine Nada and Carlos de Oliveira. On Tuesday, Garland released the first volume of Smith's findings, which covered allegations that Trump conspired in an effort to overturn the 2020 election. Trump slammed the report and Smith, referring to him in a social media post as deranged and a lame-brained prosecutor who was unable to get his case tried before the election, which I won in a landslide. The charges against Trump in the election interference case were dropped after he won the 2024 presidential election, and the documents case was dismissed by a federal judge in Florida last summer. Trump has denied any wrongdoing. Nada and de Oliveira and Trump have sought to block the release of Smith's report on the classified records case amid proceedings in Nada and de Oliveira's criminal cases. The letter from committee Democrats also said, to the extent that such a decision to dismiss these cases might encourage these defendants to keep enabling the corruption of their superiors, those concerns are outweighed by the many indications that Mr. Trump will simply end the prosecutions against these co-conspirators upon taking office anyway, and then instruct his DOJ to permanently bury this report. Mr. Trump has not been secretive about his plans to weaponize the DOJ for his own personal whims and preferences. So we find ourselves at that terrible point in time where evidence is being provided not to a corruptible court, but to the court of public opinion. Now, the sad truth remains that the chance for the public to form an opinion and act upon it was lost on November 5th, probably forevermore. And so the evidence, the facts, and the truth, they'll all be boxed up and stored like so many national secrets and God knows what else in American history's cheapest-looking guest bathroom.